your friends about that money, man. You already know, man. Cleveland media is cutting a fool. They acting up. They giving every quarterback a chance, except for Shedeur Sanders. Cleveland media going around like they Oprah, man. I'm telling you, this ought to be the new Oprah Winfrey show, the Cleveland media show. You get a chance, you get a chance, you get a chance, you get a chance, you get a chance. Every quarterback name that's out there that you can name, Cleveland media is throwing it in the pool to be their QB1 of the season. They do not want Shedeur so bad that they even put LeBron James' name in the pool. So I'm telling you right here, man, I created a little QB tracker, Cleveland media QB tracker, anyone but Shedeur Sanders edition. And I'm telling you right now, man, the quarterback options, as you see the quarterback options name right there, then I got the media hype, and then I got the NFL reality, and then the status now is just because it's Cleveland media, the one that's naming all these folks. And I even added a few names to it. Deshaun Watson, franchise quarterback, elite talent, massive investment. NFL reality, injury issues, performance concerns, high cap hit. Then I even put Willie Beeman on there, underdog hero, miracle worker, team leader, fictional character, unproven in the NFL, short-term fix, Joe Flacco, veteran. Y'all already know you want to go down that road again. Tua, injury prone, Baker Mayfield, return talk, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Anthony Richardson, his name that got thrown out there. Derek Carr coming out of retirement. Joe Montana with his 80-year-old self coming out of retirement. Russell Wilson, Tom Brady coming out of retirement, trying to win a Super Bowl and do the impossible with the Cleveland Browns and win his 8th overall Super Bowl. Jameis Winston gonna come back. Snow Sanders, Lil Snow. Shedeur Sanders' nephew even on the list. Jimmy Garoppolo, Zach Wilson, oh my goodness. Jacoby Brissett again. Flash Gordon, he ain't played since the 70s. Andy Dalton, and then the King James himself, the hometown hero, LeBron James. They want anybody to be the QB1 in Cleveland except for Shedeur Sanders. This is getting laughable, ridiculous, absurd, comical, chucklesome, droll, waggish, rib-tickling, sportive, side-splitting, irrational, groundless, unfounded, arbitrary, outrageous, scatterbrained, draft, and I just dare say plain stupid.
To everyone in Cleveland who his quarterback is. He ain't shying away from it. He seemed like a very straightforward coach. Time and time again, we seeing these people in the media paint this different narrative that Todd Monken ain't feeling Shedeur, which I don't even know how we got here, because there has not been any inkling from my knowledge that what I seen online kind of going to the fact that Todd Monken don't like Shedeur Sanders. I believe all of these stories and headlines is a false narrative that being put out by the Cleveland media and painting Shedeur as a villain.
Hold on. Stop scrolling. Because what I'm about to show you right now is going to make you question everything that Cleveland media has been feeding you about Shedeur Sanders. They've been running a narrative, a coordinated, calculated narrative, and I'm done sitting back watching it happen without saying something. Todd Monken doesn't like Shedeur. Todd Monken won't even be the coach in 2027. Todd Monken wants to move on from Shedeur. That's what they want you to believe. That's what they need you to believe. But here's the truth, and I'm going to lay it out piece by piece with receipts, actual clips, actual words, no spin, no agenda. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah. Hey, come on in, man. What's up? Good to see you. How you doing? Welcome back to the States.
How we doing, man?
Good.
Hey, we tried to draft your ass last year. It's all worked out.
Yeah.
You remember that, right?
That's what I was about to tell you.
Someday we'll get a chance to talk about that. Yeah. Awesome. Well, sit down.
Well, going in there.
Now, that was the first interaction between Todd Monken and Shedeur Sanders. As you guys can see, I laid it out for you. There's no issues there. Shedeur is not unaware that he has to compete for his position.
Before we get into the footage, let me give you the full picture of what's happening in Cleveland right now, because context is everything. Shedeur Sanders comes in, the son of Deion Sanders, the kid who played at Colorado and turned that program upside down. He walks into the Cleveland Browns facility carrying weight that most quarterbacks his age have never had to carry, the weight of a last name, the weight of expectations, the weight of an entire fan base that hasn't had stability at quarterback in years. And what does the Cleveland media do? Instead of giving this young man a fair shot, they immediately start constructing a narrative that he's already on thin ice, that the new head coach, Todd Monken, doesn't want him there, that his role is uncertain, that maybe, just maybe, Shedeur Sanders doesn't fit what Todd Monken is building. Now here's the part that has me fired up. There is zero, and I mean zero, on-record evidence from Todd Monken himself that supports any of that narrative. Not one press conference, not one interview, not one leaked conversation. Nothing. So where is this coming from? That's the question you need to be asking. Let me take you back to the moment Todd Monken and Shedeur Sanders met for the first time, because this right here, this destroyed the media narrative before it even got legs. Todd Monken walks up to Shedeur, looks him dead in the eye and says, and I'm quoting directly, "We tried to draft your ass last year." Then he laughs, gives him a hug, a real hug, not a professional, obligatory, welcome to the team handshake, a genuine, warm, I see you kind of moment. Now let me ask you something. Does that sound like a coach who has a problem with his quarterback? Does that sound like a man who's already planning to move on? No, that sounds like a coach who's excited, a coach who's been watching this kid, who wanted this kid, and is now locked in with this kid. That moment told you everything you need to know about where Todd Monken stands, but the media looked right past it, or worse, they saw it and chose to ignore it because it didn't fit the story they were already writing. Now, let's go to February 3rd, Todd Monken's press conference. A reporter asks him directly, "Are you excited about Shedeur Sanders?" And Monken says, word for word, "Am I excited about Shedeur? Am I excited about all the quarterbacks in the room? Am I excited to coach this football team? Absolutely. I can't wait for them to get back and for us to get started." That's a head coach talking. That's a man who's locked in and ready to work. He doesn't dodge the question. He doesn't give some corporate say-nothing answer. He comes out and says, absolutely. But of course, and you already know where this is going, the headline the next day isn't about Monken's excitement. The headline is about how Shedeur's role is to be determined. They took the most neutral, standard coaching speak you can give before an offseason even starts, and they turned it into a crisis.
He's reportedly said this morning that your role is to be determined. What?
Say that one more time.
Todd Monken said this morning that your role is to TBD, to be determined. Mm-hmm. What's your reaction to that? What does that mean to you when you hear that?
I mean, that's what's expected. You know, that's what's expected. I think each and every day I have to prove to everybody and to myself also. So it's kind of like having goals and accomplishing those goals, whether it's small goals.
Every player on every team in the NFL has a role to be determined in February. That's not news. That's just how football works. But when it's Shedeur Sanders, suddenly it's a 5-alarm fire. Now here's where I want to give Shedeur his flowers, because this young man handled it like an absolute professional. A reporter gets in his face during Pro Bowl weekend, tells him on camera that Todd Monken said his role is TBD, basically tries to get a reaction, tries to bait him into saying something emotional, something that can be clipped, something that can be turned into a headline. And Shedeur, he doesn't blink. He says, that's what's expected. Each and every day I have to prove myself to everybody and to myself. Small goals lead to long-term success. Be in control of what you can control. That is a quarterback's mindset. That is exactly the kind of answer that should make Cleveland excited, not nervous. He's not running from competition. He's not complaining to the media. He's not throwing shade at Monken. He's buttoned up. He's focused. He's locked in. And here's what's even more telling. When Shedeur talks about Todd Monken off the cuff, not in a formal press setting, his energy is completely different from the narrative the media is pushing. He says Monken is real cool. He says he's excited to get his perspective on the game. He says he went back home and is ready to come connect with his new head coach. That does not sound like a player who feels unwanted. That sounds like a player who's hungry and ready to prove himself. So the real question is, why? Why is the Cleveland media pushing this story so hard when the evidence doesn't back it up? Here's my theory, and I want you to really sit with this. Shedeur Sanders is a name. He's not just a quarterback, he's a brand. He's Deion's son. He played on the biggest college football stage in recent memory. He's going to bring attention to whatever city he plays in, whether Cleveland wants it or not. And some people in that media market, they don't want that kind of outside attention. They don't want Shedeur's story to be bigger than the Browns organization's story. So what do? You undercut him before he even takes a snap. You plant seeds of doubt. You make fans question whether he's really their guy. You create division before unity even has a chance to form. It's calculated, and honestly, it's sad. Because from everything we've seen, from the first handshake to the press conferences to Shedeur's own words, there is nothing but positivity between this quarterback and this head coach. Todd Monken went out of his way to meet Shedeur almost immediately after landing in Cleveland. He didn't have to do that. He chose to. That's a statement. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not here to tell you Shedeur Sanders is guaranteed to be the starter. I'm not here to tell you there won't be a real competition in Cleveland this summer. There will be. Shedeur knows it. He said it himself. But what I am here to tell you is this. Stop letting the media manipulate how you feel about this situation. Look at the actual evidence. Watch the actual clips. Listen to the actual words coming out of Todd Monken's mouth and Shedeur's mouth. There is no beef. There is no tension. There is no crisis. There's a young quarterback in a new city ready to work, and a new head coach who's excited to coach him. That's the truth. And the truth doesn't need a narrative. Hit that subscribe button if you want more content that cuts through the noise and gives you the real story. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Shedeur wins the starting job? I think he does, but we all gotta wait and see. I'm out. Shake the haters off. Peace.